Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. The debut video edition of the Critical Strike podcast. Hopefully, a format that we can keep moving forward. And what a joy it is to do it. One, because you get to see all of our faces. Well, maybe Joy, I spoke too soon, but depending on who you are. But we have a very special guest with us, our very own Lara Lunardi, to talk a little bit of a zoomed out episode, a little bit of a standalone thing as playoffs are starting up next week. We'll discuss all that next week. You can read the stuff on our website, whatever, if you want that kind of coverage. But right now, we want to take a little bit of a zoomed out look at esports culture and fashion. And that's why we brought Lara on to be here as a guest. So one, Lara, thank you so much for joining us. And two, how are you?
Thank you guys for having me. I am good. How are you guys?
Good.
I'm chilling.
I'm chilling.
I wanna see the fits for today because for anybody looking, there's a theme. As you can see, there's a theme today. So everybody kind of, do a little crep check, a little. Ooh.
There we go. Yeah,
Yep.
we're working.
There we go. Okay, yeah, a little crep check of our outfits here.
So why don't hear Tyler? Why don't you start? What do you got?
Well,
what are you
Show us the drip. Show us the drip.
The drip. Okay. So I have a KDA hat from the
Nice.
All Out drop. It's a nice little suede, real nice. Feels great. Has a little design at the bottom, the brim, and then I couldn't find my TL jersey because I have a matching liquid mask, and I actually have matching coasters and a thing. But instead, I wore Season 1 New York Excelsior jersey. I'm pretty happy about this purchase because it was back when I used to cover and watch the league like extensively, and yeah.
That's some vintage.
You know how it is.
It's a relic.
Gotta break it out a little bit.
You get like that tiny depreciation, and then the price just gonna go. Like,
Exactly.
That's true.
Exactly.
And Meg, what are we rocking here?
Right, so first of all, and by no means least, we have a thermal because it's absolutely freezing in my room at all times, and I would freeze to death if I was just wearing a jersey. But we can pretend it's one of those cool like gamer sleeves, like the compression sleeves that they wear to get like the maximum APM. We'll pretend it's one of those. And then I don't really think I can show you the back. There's not like a good way to do it, but I have the Fnatic X Hello Kitty shirt on from the drop they did like a couple years ago because I'm a massive weeb at heart, and anything like Sanrio related, I'm sold. Give me everything.
And Lara, rocking what I believe is a jersey of Meg's actual favorite team, right?
It doesn't fit my head. Well, that's too bad. Well, yeah, it's the G2 Anorak. I remember that when this came out, people were freaking out about it. I do want to show one thing that I think is really, really nice about it is that inside it's lined with teeny tiny G2 logos, and I think it's really adorable.
No, that's super cool.
Okay, but the real important question: what is the pocket situation? Because that is something that is very important to me.
Okay, the pocket situation's pretty decent. There's like a big old pocket.
Little kangaroo pouch. I like it.
And it's lined inside. Wowee.
Respect the drip.
And pockets on the side too. It's
my God,
lots of pockets.
I mean, that's undefeated. That's phenomenal. So I feel like in a lot of like men's wear, like the pants especially, we could just get away with a ridiculous amount of pockets. Whereas with women's fashion, pockets are generally not as accessible. And so for that kind of sweatshirt, you got like the kangaroo pouch and the zip and the drip and the
and the colorway just too clean.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Mr. Hank,
I've got
what you got on?
Little long sleeve 100 Thieves, which I love. I got this when they let some press in prehistoric times when before COVID, when they opened up the Cash App facility. And they give all the press folk there, so it's got the like 20
God
on the back.
Nice.
It's kind of nice.
I love that. But that design's so clean.
Yeah, I mean, and I think something that can be taken away as we love cats on video podcasts.
Sorry, she's just going to be coming.
She needs merch,
but she doesn't want to show. Yeah.
For any teams, we need cat merch ASAP. By the way.
Absolutely. Actually, didn't G2 kind of do pet merch just very recently, or they were like thinking about it, maybe making like a focus group?
Yes, pet merchandise. That's a place that hasn't. I don't think it's been touched yet.
I don't think my parents would be too keen on it, but I would get esports merch for my dog.
I
Just like
100%
no question.
Absolutely.
It's okay. Maybe your dog would be kind of keen on it. So
Yeah.
that's
And
what
then
matters,
family's
right?
like, how much was that though? And you're like, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Just fine. We'll talk about it.
It's like, do you know how much his food costs? Hello? Like, why are we worried about like
Very good point.
but I think even like I love that like we've kind of got different jerseys and collabs and all this stuff, because I think that really speaks to kind of what we want to talk about is the evolution of whether it be esports kits, jerseys, merch. I mean, the fact, the existence of merch. When did it just become jerseys? What the heck did jerseys even look like? Spoiler alert. We've come such a long way, and it's so wonderful.
It's been great.
Like even collaborations like the Hello Kitty, right? Tyler, I don't know if you're TL one. I mean, TL has done collaborations out the wazoo.
Oh man.
Yeah. But I mean, they really have evolved, and even like the way they play sponsors, right? Rocket Mortgage, like this is very tiny, whereas there are some other examples that are a little more heinous. But it really has evolved into. I mean, like kit design is a thing now, whereas beforehand it was just here's a logo, here's a bunch of people that help pay for us to produce these things, and I don't know, maybe it's comfortable, maybe it's not. Who cares? Play your computer game.
Look, I still remember, like, people didn't care how they looked from in the beginning. Let's be real, right? Some guys just had T-shirts on. Some guys. We're gonna touch on this. Worlds with a Zubu hopping on with button-up T-shirts and jeans, and it's just like they didn't care.
A Zubu photo. There is an energy that comes off that image that just I want an esports organization to be able to replicate those vibes with like an actual jersey. I want them to bring back the button-up shirts and like the running shoes, like the slightly flared jeans and then running shoes just like peeking out from underneath them. It's something else.
There's a team in CS:GO, I think they're called Greyhound Gaming, where they had like floral shirts, like floral button-up shirts as their kit.
Yes.
And you think it's like
That's a vibe,
corny, but it's actually so sick. I love it. I think it's Greyhound Gaming or something to that effect.
Greyhound Gaming. Looking up.
Greyhound. Yes, I think.
How recently was this though?
A few years ago, like recent, like last 5 years, I believe.
Like
where they were like Tommy Bahama jerseys that were branded, and it was just super funny, but like super.
Wait, so they had a floral shirt that was branded?
Yeah, it was great. It was like gray with like palm trees and stuff, and it had their.
I mean,
logo.
It's bold. I'll give them that.
And it worked.
Yeah,
it honestly worked, though, right? Like, because I think that we've gone from. It's kind of weird. We're going like from like the button-ups to now like the really sci-fi looking jerseys to now everyone wants to go a little bit more minimalistic and like really think about the designs and stuff. I think that like the thought process behind esports and just the fashion behind the industry has started to pick up a lot from what we've seen. Like before it was just really just the jerseys, but now everyone's thinking about what kind of merch can we do, who can we collab with, we should get fashion designers in here and all these kind of things, and getting even like a creative director towards just the fashion part of it. It's just become such a huge thing from something that not a lot of people really cared about in the beginning.
I think that this has like come not just for esports as well, right? Like with like the rise of influencers and like Instagram personalities and whatnot, like we've seen people care a lot more about fashion and about what they wear more so than ever. And I don't know, I just think it's interesting because we did the shift of like every gaming apparel looked the same, whether it was esports or whether it was just, like, I don't know, like the Fallout or the Super Mario drop that Nintendo would release. If it was even called a drop back then, but like it all looked the same. And yeah, it's just really interesting to see this shift. Thank God that we're seeing it.
Yeah.
And we've gotten.
It was hard out there for a while.
Oh God, yeah.
I mean, we mentioned the Azubu Frost. I mean, the Dignitas, old school like 2012 sweatshirts. We were looking at that as we prep the podcast system. But again,
Snapdragon.
Like TSM Snapdragon again, where it was just a T-shirt with like, "Hi, here's a logo."
Yeah.
Which like a T-shirt with a logo in the middle can work, but not. It's not that. That's not it, Chief.
It looked like something you get at Walmart, I think, in the beginning. It was just
very good point.
It was straight up just like no. In the beginning, I'm not trying to roast, but didn't it?
That's okay.
No, you're right.
Didn't it kind of look like that a little? Where it's just like
a little bit.
You hop into Target or Walmart, and it's just the graphic just popped onto the front, and I'm just it's just like.
And sometimes that can work, just not in this.
But they were playing on
case.
stage with that. It's just like bro, what?
Yeah, that's not something that I would wear like to work, and that was work,
Yeah.
right? That is not when you're presenting yourself on the biggest and maybe most global stage. That's not something you necessarily do. And thankfully, we have come a long way. I mean, we talk about the Azubu Frost jerseys from the 2012 Worlds, 2020 Worlds. It was cool because it was like they were given kind of a theme, and it was like, all right, make it your own, right? And there were some hits and there were some misses. Let's start with some of the hits. I think we each brought one that we liked in particular. Tyler, why don't we start with you?
From 2020, right? The 2020. Easy answer, honestly, is G2's Worlds jerseys. I think that G2's been on the mark for most of their just releases in general. I think that even on the merch side, they've been pretty good about it. But their jerseys have been like chef's kiss type of like design, and I really like that they're leaning into that kind of samurai slash across the chest. But then with Worlds, they introduced that whole gold with like the dragon. Just it looks so. It just matched the whole like aesthetic and atmosphere that Worlds was last year, and the design was perfect. It was actually perfect. I loved every single aspect of like the details that they had on it, because nothing was too busy that it took away from anything. Like you can still see the G2 crest, which is always there, but then it just added everything together, made it look so regal almost. And yeah, no, I'm just sad I didn't get to get it last year when they were selling it. I was super sad about it, but
I also really like the fact they got Frosk and Medic to model them for the site. I thought that was a really cool touch.
Yes.
Yeah, the photo shoot turned out amazing, which I think really helps to sell a product like that
for sure.
too.
Yeah. I don't know. Those like Frosk and Medic are just so like they look great on camera, and so when
Such beautiful people. It's okay to say it. It's fine.
They look so good, and then you put that beautiful jersey on. I'm just like, take my money already.
Also, it made me realize
look like that.
Frosk is not short. Like Frosk is not a short woman by any stretch of the imagination. Oh my god, Medic is so tall. He looked like a giant in those images.
Yeah,
I think the whole LEC broadcast team is just super tall.
Hey, you know,
completely irrelevant comment, but just something that I noticed.
I mean, I'll throw my pick in next, and I mean, well, actually, here, Meg, actually, you go first. I'm afraid we're going to say the same one. If not, I have a backup one because you like brought it in, and I sort of adopted it as we were in the kind of the pre-recording meeting.
Okay. Well, I'm going to steal mine back from Hank, and I'm going to say the TSM Worlds jersey. I haven't been a huge fan of a lot of TSM's jerseys. I feel like they've stayed within the
boring
block color list of sponsors logo on the chest thing. But the white with like the gray detailing, the like gray dragon detailing, I wasn't a massive fan of. I like the G2 jerseys, but they were like a little too ostentatious for me. Like it wouldn't be something that I'd realistically wear. But the TSM one was so subtle, and it was so clean. I love those jerseys. I thought they were fantastic.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful. Most people did the dragon right.
Most.
No, and I think it's like Tyler was saying, there's like an air of subtlety to it, and I think G2, right, with the gold, that's kind of the making it a gold outline, that's kind of the subtlety you want to hit. But with TSM, I mean, I think just colors wise, they were drawn a bit of a short straw because their colors are literally black and white.
Didn't they have some purple in their design at one point, or am I imagining? I feel like I've seen purple in TSM stuff before.
Not like, if there was, it wasn't that much at all. The biggest change for them was this year when they added red, and I loved it. Like they've never really like you said, they've maintained the same look for how many years? Like a few seasons now. It's been the same look over and over and over again, which is why like I can't justify getting one of their jerseys until this year. Like I couldn't justify because they just all look the same. And there's nothing in terms of innovation, right? Compared to other teams that have really kind of put the thought into changing it. This year it looks a bit better because they did add a bit of color red, which I think looks really good. And then they've added the red into a bunch of their marketing and their graphics and stuff, which is cool. Because they desperately needed a little bit of like a splash of color to really liven up.
It was very plain.
Too. Yeah, it was super plain. But yeah, no, I think that TSM, I think that how you were talking about how like it's too ostentatious, the G2 jersey. I think it matched them though in the way that they play, the way
it
they
definitely works for their branding. It's like, and
Exactly.
I know a lot of people who own that jersey and like just wear it constantly. It just like you can kind of tell I wear very plain clothing. So for someone like me who is not as bold with their clothing choices, the TSM jersey was like perfect.
It's great. Yeah.
I have to be really
still sad about it,
honest. When it came to the G2 jersey, it's beautiful, but it felt a little bit costumey, and I feel like a lot of their outfits are a little bit costumey, if that makes sense. Like even this, like I love this anorak, but I can count in my hands the amount of times that I've gone out with it because it's just hard to match with other things that I have in the wardrobe. Not to say it's like a beautiful piece of clothing and it's really well made, but it's just it's not something that you'd wear every day, and that TSM jersey is just it's lovely.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Lara, do you have a pick?
Okay, not to be the person that always picks CB Low in the LLA, but I did want to bring up.
CB Low. Yes.
I do want to bring up the INTZ jersey. I think it was so gorgeous with the design coming across and the gold and the black. It was I feel like it was like a maybe what Meg would have liked the G2 jersey to be like. It almost in a sense.
Kind of, yeah.
Because
even if the lines on the G2 one were a little bit thinner, would have been perfect.
Yeah. I agree. I do think that would have made G2's jersey a little bit better. But yeah, I think their jersey was phenomenal. And also Rainbow Sevens. It was different from everyone, and it feels like they just they had like the red and the rainbow.
Oh right.
Yeah, it looked very different from everyone else's, and I just thought it was really pretty.
Yeah. No, I've forgotten about these. That is sharp.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
At the time, I wrote an entire article about every jersey that was out, so pretty much. Oh, I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool that like the teams from the smaller regions were able to make a splash with kit, because I feel like a lot of the time for regions like that, it's kind of like they show up, like their home viewers will watch their games, and there's not a lot that is memorable about their performances. Sometimes there are exceptions, but because like people that
Damn.
I know, but like, or it's because like major region fans don't tune into a lot of their broadcasts, so they're not as invested in their performance. But like the fact that they're able to have that kind of strong branding with like really, really sick jerseys is really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Honestly, I actually kind of hate this because I really do like the INTZ one. I don't know about the like rib cage looking thing they got going. That I don't know if I adore. I like literally everything else about it.
I think it would be flattering only to men. I'd never seen that jersey on like the female figure, so I don't know. Like, it's like a more of a manly cut. So I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so my pick was this was actually either the Suning or the LGD one. I don't know. Like
Suning had a beautiful jersey.
Suning had a really
so cute.
Yeah. One that I didn't like was like I almost like. Okay, actually, I'll save that for honorable mention. The Suning one I really did like. The LGD one I liked because I just like kind of charcoal gray things, and that was kind of the color they were going with.
Oh right, it was like almost like a marble. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then like just with the red LGD on the front, just super like clean, crisp,
super clean. Actually,
I really liked.
When I saw that jersey in the advertisement, I thought it was a bit too busy, but actually on stage it wasn't as.
Once you zoom out from it a little bit, it's really nice.
Right, yeah, it did look really nice. Well, they're always on point with their merch.
100%, yeah.
Shame it's so hard to buy over here.
Dude, straight up. I want to pick up like those Nike. We'll talk about that later, but oh my. We gotta talk about that later. Yeah.
I think an honorable mention one for me was the DRX like long sleeve hybrid like sweater type deals.
Yes.
I think those were like so close to being my favorites.
Yeah.
But there were a couple just kind of like misplaced sponsors that I thought really disrupted how it was like light blue, white, and black, and that needs like minimalism for me. You can't get too aggro with that, especially with sponsors that have their colors and stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
But I really like that one. But let's move into that discussion about like these kind of kit companies now. I mean, it's getting a little kind of more standardized, right? I mean, Nike, they I think they started in 2020, either 2019 or 2020, but like even on the World's kits for 2020, they the Nike swoosh up there, and so there is kind of a little bit of homogenization of the LPL kits, which coming from like a soccer perspective, Major League Soccer here in the U.S. I don't know who the kit sponsor actually is, but like, or not the kit sponsor, but the kit manufacturers. And so there's a lot of standardization in those, and that just to me like kind of stifles creativity. I'm not saying it's analogous, but with that, but they are kind of getting a lot more similar, and maybe that's a good thing because as lawless as the LPL can be from the number of teams, 17. Why?
True.
To the gameplay, to potentially the like sponsor heavy and money, saturated jersey design, that could get kind of wild, which could be fun.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, we'll talk about money saturated. Like Nike probably threw a brick and a half.
Word.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like that's the thing though. Just having that Nike check on your jersey though, like that's kind of sick.
Tight.
Like imagine an esports team with the Nike logo. But I do agree. Like, I looked at all the jerseys, and to a degree, they look basically the same. But they can like customize the background, but it's literally just the logo of the team on the front. Very. Yeah, it can work. And for some teams, it works really well. Like RNG Classic, I love the gold that they have because it makes for a really, really classic feel. I think that you can't really go wrong, especially with teams like that. But then there are other teams like that it just feels kind of underwhelming because they have like, for example, oh my gosh, what's that team with it looks like it looks like the Dignitas logo, but it has 2 T's and it's blue.
Thundertalk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Their jersey is kind of like mad because one, the logo itself is pretty like thin, and then it's in the middle, and then the background's just like white, and then that just looks so basic. And so depending on what you can play with in terms of your color schemes, like your team colors and what you have available to you, I think you can get kind of like, I wouldn't say screwed, but like you can get kind of like the short end of the stick because it's standardized. And so
well, make sure that your logo's really strong. If your logo is awesome, then you don't have to worry about standardizing.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
So invest in design.
The ones that they had last year, I think it was last year, the where it was like there was like a V and they could choose what like appeared under the V. When IG's one of those where they had like the wings, like the feathers that you could just see underneath the V. That was perfect. Love those. Again, really wanted to get my hands on, but it's impossible to get LPL kit outside of China, and it makes me so sad.
Dude.
Yeah. No, I was in the same boat. I wanted to get one of those. I wanted to get an FPX one because, I actually will save that little anecdote for later. But but I think even like colors, like if you have like kind of standardized kit design where it's like, oh, you are just kind of pigeonholed a little bit. I do think certain colors just lend themselves better. For instance, like you said, RNG, black and gold. I think look at like LAFC in Major League Soccer, like they're the Team iSport, like they just with this black and gold, very like regal. Right. And like, I mean, maybe it's not RNG's like royal, never give up. Like they,
literally royal. Yeah.
They gotta look regal.
Yeah. And it's like we actually don't have to do anything because we just exude that. Now, if they were, a dumpster tier team, maybe that's a different discussion. But like they're not. So
they don't look like it. If they were, they don't look like it though.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what matters.
What's good, but we have like a 2-16
no one will question you, even if your team is trash.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you look good, you feel good.
Yeah.
You play good.
Yeah.
That's true.
And then shifting gears a little bit, as far as we talk about the evolution of kits and jerseys. We got for kind of the good and the bad, but orgs as a whole. I mean, I think 100 Thieves kind of epitomizes the like, oh, we are more than just one team. We are an organization. But I think as orgs have branched out, right? Cloud9 has a number of teams, G2, T1, whatever. Like you said, that logo then, and your organization's brand, even just your logo, that carries a lot more weight because it's appearing in a lot more places. So we thought we'd exactly. No, that is your face. Yeah. So we thought we'd go through kind of the most like there were some recent rebrands, especially a few in the LEC, a couple in the LCS where like my personal favorite was Dignitas, just going back to the old school thing.
He's so cute. I think he's great.
No, he's wonderful, and I think that even touches on like a microcosm of just fashion in general. Is that like after a certain point, like retro kicks in. Retro like comes into existence as a thing
Mm-hmm.
exists.
Totally.
And
They
like
gotta have that
nostalgia.
history to back
Yeah,
it up.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, and like nostalgia is such a powerful emotion.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like speaking of nostalgia, SKT, now T1. I think that their rebrand to me, and I was gonna mention them as like one of the honorable mentions for like kits and jerseys because it's just so classic, red white.
Yeah.
Like you instantly know who it is when it's red white. Like if you're like conscious of like the esports scene in some kind of capacity for League of Legends, you know red white, SKT, T1. But I think that for their rebrand of going from SKT to T1, it was kind of jarring because I think that me personally, it's going to be a little biased because I really, like you said, that nostalgic factor. I connect SKT and T1 to their successes when they had the circle with the wings.
Super iconic.
And it's super iconic. And it felt like that was kind of like how the New York Yankees logo is, where you can't change that. Or the Lakers, you can't change
100%.
that logo. And for
I agree.
me, I think that when they had like the T1 with the circle still and the wings, I think they should have kept it like that because I think that it still maintains that iconic silhouette of like the T1 wing, like flying off to win another championship, but you're still moving forward to a new era by changing the name because everyone knew it as SKT.
Mhm.
Everyone said, who are you facing? SKT. Oh, you're gonna lose. But now you have to say T1, and it just feels so weird. And they've modernized the logo so much. I'm going on a rant because I love that logo, and although it's not that bad, like T1's logo is still really good.
It is. It's really well done.
Yeah, it's
But
really,
it's
really
just
well done.
hard to like come back from something that meant so much to a lot of people, right? And to
Exactly.
be fair, like the entire company feels like it has changed a lot since the new ownership. So I guess
For sure.
it makes it just everything feels so different. It's kind of weird to us fans, I suppose. But yeah, that classic jacket that they have is just
Those bombers were
The
oh
bombers.
god,
Come
so good.
on. So great. Yeah.
Why haven't they released that? That's crazy. Like a legacy collection. How
would go
cool would
so
that
crazy.
be?
Buy in a
Sold out
heartbeat.
I
sold
would
out.
drop all my money.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
That
Like the
they have them.
TSM has the bombers, and those are really cool, even though
those-
it's like very
Oh, the classic
minimalistic.
one. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh man.
We need
Yeah.
more esports bombers. That's the tweet.
That's the sentiment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe without our episode title, we need more esports bombers.
Yes.
Exactly.
But yeah, but kind of in more recent ones, Tyler, you hit the I mean that was a big one, right? It's like yeah, because it's like T1 isn't bad on its own, but because of the history, because of the things because they won all 3 of their world championships under the SKT banner. That's inseparable from like the GOAT discussion and Faker, right? And like his look, right? You think of him in that bomber, and with the red and white, but also the yellow.
Yes.
Right? Which has kind of been phased out.
Yeah.
But there were some recent ones. I think Rogue was met with a lot of success or a lot of positive reactions anyway. And it's funny because like the Rogue logo, right? It's a it's a rogue, it's a ninja or whatever, right? But it's like it has that mask. And I showed my girlfriend who's not an esports person the Rogue video, and she's like, "Oh, it's cool." They kind of lean into like the pandemic thing, like like releasing that. And I'm like,
Fun story. So back when things were normal and we could go to the LEC studio, I think it was on week 2, Rogue was giving every fan and like press person face mask with the Rogue logo on the side, and that is the best, the nicest face mask I own to date. It's like it's so well done, and it's thick and it covers your whole face. It really does make it look like a ninja. So I wash it all the time because I really want to make sure that I can wear it constantly. But like, it's so well done.
Imagine going to live esports events.
Yeah.
4 times.
I would just buy jerseys to wear it at home.
Yeah, to wear at home
Kind of
for our work
sad.
meetings. Like,
you know what? When we can go outside again, they won't be even relevant. So
oh no!
I would buy it.
Well, this took a sad turn.
Yeah, now I'm sad.
Sorry. Hello, my name is Lara. I come here to make you depressed.
Speaking of things that, depending on who you ask, make you either sad or not, the Excel rebrand. Meg, you have strong opinions here.
Yes.
I think they missed when they were printing the X. The shirt shifted a bit.
It's so close. It's so close to being
I
such a
agree.
good
It's so
jersey.
close.
And like I went to the the online press conference they did for the jersey release or for the rebrand rather, and I was looking through all of the graphics that they had, and I was like, okay, this kind of looks like the LEC font a little bit, but it's cool. They have a load of different colorways of the logo with all of the different like primary colors that they use. It's black and then just like a rainbow of colors, which I really like. It's like nice and minimalistic. They did a really good job on the rebrand. They released a load of really cool like non-jersey hoodies and stuff to go alongside it. And then the jersey came out and I was like, why have you done this? Like just 1 centimeter the other way and it would have been perfect.
It would have been perfect, but the designer was like, gonna crooked.
But
No,
like, why even do that?
Cool and just off-centered it for no reason. There's no reason.
Like, what could have been the design choice there to like make that like shift? It doesn't make sense. Like, everyone's like, look at it, it's great, and the guy goes,
Pixel's just never walking straight, you know? They're always kind of
yeah.
The guy in charge of their rebrand used to work for Adidas, I think. I think he was a creative director at Adidas. I cannot for the life of me remember his name. I apologize. And like everything was just so close to being such a good all-round rebrand, and then
us esports peasants are just not ready to understand like really good design, I suppose. Like every time some names like why design this, it's like
good for you. It's like Heron Preston with GenG.
Exactly.
I
like that jersey.
Like I love Heron Preston. I love his brand, and the front of the jersey looked great.
And then
the back. The thing is though, it's kind of on brand to Heron Preston's kind of designs, but at the same time, I'm like,
it looked like someone went on PowerPoint and just went like, okay, let's make a star and stretch it out and make sure it's not too symmetrical.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah, it was because I got super excited, like because I knew Heron from before, because I really want to pick up some of his stuff, but they're either usually sold out or they're on resale value for way too much money, and so Bitcoin. I'm like, damn, a Bitcoin, yeah. But like when I saw him like working with GenG, I'm like, damn, okay, because I've already saw some of GenG's like merch and all their jerseys and stuff. I'm like, this is gonna be good, but it leaned a lot more into like the fashion sided of it.
It was like just a little too high fashion for esports, I think.
A little bit too much into streetwear. Yeah. It went way too into streetwear and more. And I think that's the fine line right now that teams are trying to find out is where can we go and where can we balance looking good to the point where possibly you can even wear it outdoors, like just out in public, and also wearing it on stage. And that's a really, really, really fine line that some teams aren't able to get, because most jerseys look like that, just jerseys. And so I think that they tried to go into more so of a like streetwear-esque vibe, but it didn't translate. To me, it didn't translate too well when we saw it on stage. But the front looked really good though.
I think that for a team to make really good merch, like they can't just look at streetwear and think, okay, this is what we have to go for. Like you have to actually consume the content, you have to actually shop these places and understand what's going on. Why are these designs hot right now, and why do you want to bring this to your brand instead of just trying to make it look like it's the next cool thing, right?
Yeah.
And I think as a perfect segue into kind of where we've now hit is that some orgs have hit on this, some orgs have missed on it, some orgs have hit and leaned into and, really launched their brand identity around being more than just an esports team or company, right? But these 100 Thieves are the shining example of that, and they've never been shy about it, right? They've beat that over your head. We're not a gaming company, we are a lifestyle brand.
They're both.
That merger, right? It's like you said, it's not like just pasting like esports and high fashion together and just kind of, well, this is weird. Like, I don't know. It looks ugly, but this is what we're supposed to do, right? It's like, no, like they work into each other. They are a unit.
Like it's one of those ones where 100 Thieves to me is the perfect example of knowing, because you need to do research onto to streetwear to see what appeals to appeals to that kind of crowd, and then you look at the esports side and see what appeals to them, and then you take both and see how can we appeal to both at the same time. And I think that 100 Thieves does this perfectly because one, not only do the clothes look really good, because they've obviously done research into like how to design their clothing. I love the way that they design their stuff where it's like very simple. Like they've taken to like just having the simple logo in the middle, but then the back is where you get all the detail. Like the no camping
Right.
like the no camping collection. I love that collection because it's
That
very
collection
simple
is
on the
great.
front and you see immediately it's 100 Thieves, which is really
Yeah.
great. So like when you pass by someone, they'll see 100 Thieves, and then when you pass by someone, they just see this nice design. And I think that I think that the biggest thing about them is the way they market themselves. I think that 100 Thieves is like the shining example of making sure that their merch drops aren't just like esports merch drops. They make it seem as if it's like almost like Supreme or Palace or all these other brands that it's like this is exclusive. You're not gonna get this unless you're like quick or you're lucky or you spent a crap ton of money. And so like
on
Supreme
that
drops.
note,
Yeah.
I just want to say when we were doing the like story meeting for this podcast episode yesterday, we were looking on StockX at some of the also super cool the fact that you can get. I think Tyler knows what I'm about to say. We were looking on StockX at some of the like the 100 Thieves matches is like that was available. Which first of all, super cool that like a company like StockX is selling the merch of an esport or reselling the merch of an esports
100%.
company. But I'm addressing the person directly that listed this because I don't like you and you are not my friend. There was a water bottle on that site that was $50. How dare you charge me $50 for a water bottle with a 100 Thieves logo on it? You need to go to prison.
I see the
was so
keychain
angry.
logo. It's just like a keychain logo, like a plastic piece.
$60.
It's 51
Yeah.
euros. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, the exchange rate.
No, jail. Go to prison. That shouldn't be allowed.
Go to prison. Her words. Okay.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
I mean, hey, some of these hoodies are going for like $400. That's that's crazy. And I don't see any other like esports brands here. Maybe
FaZe
there's
is the
Team
only
Liquid.
one I can think of.
Yeah, that's true. No Team Liquid. Yeah,
because FaZe is also very
a lifestyle brand.
into lifestyle.
Right. There's a lot of FaZe.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like I mean, we're talking about like the power of a brand name. I mean, it's like that water bottle becomes more valuable. The water bottle itself, like it's not too different from this Hydro Flask. This was $20. Right?
Yeah,
and I would happily pay $20 for it because it's a quality water bottle. But like, yeah, no, but
it's not even it's not even a Hydro Flask material. It's literally plastic Nalgene. So
it's I don't
Has
know.
the person used it? You think?
no.
I hope not.
How? Maybe that's why it's 50.
Maybe they're
there's
giving,
something
the
special
drink or
to
the
it.
president?
$50 so you can clone them.
No, it
I
would have
never
to be
bought-
Drake himself.
Yeah,
Water
it
bottle
had to
from
be
a-
Drake himself to use that bottle for it to go for like $60. Like what?
I mean, it's like the Supreme brick phenomenon.
100%. Like
The
But
logo
then
and-
again, I guess it's kind of cool that like a esports brand like 100 Thieves was a League of Legends team that did okay in their first season and then did really bad for a while. But it's insane to me that like that logo can have so much pull
100%.
and like make something be worth that much. And like despite the fact that I think the person who made it is a criminal for charging that much, like it's so cool that that's something that we can do now. Like esports is starting to become worth that much.
Like
Cool, unless you want it.
Exactly.
Unless you want it, then it's just sad.
Yeah. Like I think
At what point? Sorry, Tyler, but like
No,
at
go ahead,
what point are esports fans not going to be able to buy the team's merch because hype are just going to buy everything and resell it like they do with
They're just
other
gonna
stuff, and
scalp
we're
it?
just gonna be
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
we just
yeah.
want to rush the team, but
That's
we
such a
can't.
dark timeline.
It
I actually
is.
don't want to think
I
about
wouldn't
that.
be surprised though, because you already know that whenever like a certain brands drop stuff, there are bots that just scoop it up, like Yeezys and other brands like this. They have bots that just on drop, like Jordan's even still to this day.
Every time the
Like,
sneakers app has a launch, it's just botted, the whole thing.
Sneakers. Everything just gets botted. And I think that 100 Thieves to this point is getting those problems too. Because it's gotten to the like I think that 100 Thieves got the jump on the streetwear merch like scene for esports. I think that they are the pioneers, which is why they can afford to do this kind of like branding and pricing, because they know that they are the pioneers in the esports streetwear scene, where it's like we're just as lucrative and just as important as like Supreme and all these other type of brands and whatever. And so treat us like that. And what happened?
Yeah.
They got treated like that. And
Yeah.
so, you know, everybody's now dropping a crap ton of money on StockX, like $300 for the cream hoodie, because it's become that kind of symbol of exclusivity. Where it's like, I got this merch, you don't.
You can't just cheer for 100 Thieves. You need like a certain amount of status to cheer for
Yep.
them. So
You need to have like a
wow.
level of drip to the point where you can be a 100 Thieves fan. Also, I just
Straight
want to say, I know that water bottle was resale value. 100 Thieves, please don't like come for me. I love your merch a lot. I know that it's not overpriced. I just want to say that I know that was resale value.
Yeah.
That individual person that listed it is the person that I think is a criminal, not 100 Thieves.
No, 100 Thieves.
Hey, you should stop
crazy.
wearing this shirt right now and just think about reselling
Yo,
it.
resell
You're
that, bro.
You're actually just
Low
dropping
key,
its
actually.
value.
Yeah, the value, put it back in the
Yeah,
plastic bag. What are
imagine.
you doing, man? Seal it up, bro.
I am wearing more money on my chest
Yeah.
than I have ever worn on my chest.
Stop.
Like, I got a nice.
Relish it. Relish the
I got a
moment.
nice suit
Oh my
recently.
god, dude.
That's it.
Yeah.
That is the only amount of money I've ever worn on my person more. I also got my Fnatic joggers on, which are really
Ooh.
these. Because I wanted to emulate the 20.
Lift your leg up. Let's just see it a little. Is it like?
Don't.
Our producer.
It's just like
He's been perfectly silent for 40 minutes.
I wasn't gonna say anything because I could hear him laughing in the background.
And I sort of forgot he was there, which I think is a good thing. And then we just hear just like nope.
Don't do that.
I'm gonna cry.
So we won't do that.
Anyway.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Anywho, but I think even like 100 Thieves, to wrap up kind of that point, I think it's something we should mention is like, you know, the personalities they sign are, you know, and that's a big part of it too, is because I think again it helps kind of humanize or like, you know, de-exclusivize, to use a technical term, like, or not exclusivize, like it helps kind of like it doesn't become esports, right? People who follow esports follow streamers, right? Because they're personalities, and like it just makes it more kind of realistic, right? I mean, Tyler brought up, he's you know, he put a point in our Google Doc like that it's like the photo shoots even, right? It's like this isn't like, you know, they're not modeling these things as they sit here and just they're modeling them in real life situations, right? Again, it's like you can be both, and it's that marriage, it's that finding that which parts of each universe do you take and which do you not.
I was gonna a good point to that is Meg, you know these guys more than I do, but GenG signed a bunch of content creators.
Yep. They have the two, like
Emily Gould
and Snitchery are the two.
Snitchery, yes.
Emily Gould is more like purely lifestyle based, like she does a lot of fashion content. And then Snitchery is one of the most fantastic cosplayers I've ever seen, and also does some like fashion stuff on top of that. Like it's really cool that people like that are being brought into the space.
Yes, 100%.
I don't see a lot of that, which I think it's a shame because that's such a big part, especially like it's content that like appeals to everyone, right? Like
you're approaching it more so because they don't stream, right? They don't even stream, or they don't play like they're not like a pro player.
Emily did some stuff for Ven, like some she did like a game show for Ven, I think, but I don't think she streams that often.
Right.
On
like
her
I know
personal
both
channel.
of them mostly from Instagram and TikTok.
Yep.
Which I think is a big place that like esports organizations should start to look at, is to try and widen their kind of market towards the general public of just fashion and culture, because then that can kind of pull in and even like normalize video games as not just something that you play in your basement or whatever. Like I swear people still have this mentality that esports and gamers are still like these guys that like these, I don't know, losers in their basement that have like Cheeto crumbs in their foot. And it's like, look at Reckless. Look at Reckless.
I was
right
just
now
gonna say,
he's not the most handsome person you've ever seen. Like,
to my parents, but like basically, when I started working in esports, my parents are both wonderful people, but they both kind of have the like gamers is just like some grungy dude with a beard down to his knees sitting in his basement, just like hunched over his keyboard. And I showed them a picture, one image of Reckless, and they were like, okay, yeah, no, I get it.
All you needed. Straight up. No.
It's like,
oh my gosh.
That mentality of like the image, I think that's a big thing too, is the shift of the image of the gamer.
Yep.
I think the image of the gamer has shifted because a lot of people back before they're like, oh, it's some like low life who doesn't do anything, and then whatever he like looks, he's fat, whatever, and blah blah blah, and he's like doesn't do anything. Yeah, he's all run down. He doesn't see sunlight, and now gamers are coming out and it looks great. It's colorful. It's fashionable.
The thing, so everyone's a gamer now. Back then, sure, it was a super niche thing, like to live games. Yeah, you would be shamed for it, but also like not a lot of people cared, and now it's just so normal that like how do you separate who's who?
Yeah.
You mentioned TikTok. One really interesting thing that I think especially recently has gone into normalizing gaming is the rise of like e-boy and e-girl culture on TikTok, which in turn is feeding back into the increase in streetwear in gaming spaces and for gaming merch, because it's like it's this weird crossover where like streetwear and like techwear style is meeting people who are like genuine fans of gaming and really love it, and gaming companies, whether that be esports organizations or like I think Super Mario had a shoe drop not that long ago. Like Nintendo did a collab with someone and they had a shoe drop.
So did Sonic the Hedgehog, of course, always competing.
Of course, you have to. But like it's really cool that because gaming is becoming more of an inclusive space for like all different kinds of people, you have companies that are willing to cater to like more taste with their merch.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, look at Levi's with Pokemon, with Mario, with everything that they've been releasing. Like it's
for sure.
And the pieces look
banger.
And I think like, you know, when we talk about like esports organizations getting into TikTok, like it's like to me anyway, I think this goes back to like the humanizing side of it is like if the org goes into it, if certain people go into
it. Yes.
The amount of money I would pay to watch Yankos do a TikTok dance, like the limit does not exist.
They don't want it. I'll give you the personal insight. Like none of the players want to do TikTok content. They're all like, "Oh God, no, that's not for me." Like this
has
is
a stigma
cringe
around it,
right? And like gamer content on TikTok is like, yeah, you can do a few gameplay videos, but like I wouldn't say the general gaming audience is there, or at least like the people that watch esports. There's very few people that like are creating content for that. But I don't know. Interesting. Yes, I too would like to see Yankos do a TikTok dance.
Yankos, if you're watching this, you know what you have to do.
Please do a TikTok dance.
Which that one? The Ichi ni san, do that one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep, do that one. That's the one. I won't accept anything else. You have your homework.
So it's at Critical Strike Pod, or at Crit Strike Pod. I don't even know our Twitter handle. Yikes, off the top of my head.
At Crit Strike Pod.
At Crit Strike Pod. Thank you, Meg.
Yes.
It being the glue that holds all this together. But I think even like as far as collaborations, I mean, we've seen it even go kind of the reverse way also, which is cool that like, you know, the video games are coming out into the real world, but then the brands are coming into the game. And for people, and as the audience expands, right, people like, that people that really care about like brands and stuff and have an affinity for those things, more of those people are playing video games. And when they see like, oh, here's like a Kiana skin that has like the Louis logo on her, just like,
watch out.
Like,
and it's a skin that's so good. Yeah, I mean the entire skin was designed by Nicolas Ghesquiere, but he's such a good designer.
Like, if you would have told me that even like 5 years ago, I've been like, you're crowd with the 3 heads.
Yeah, I mean, I do think Louis Vuitton has been working with gaming for a while, though. I do believe that around 5 years ago, they worked with Lightning as their model. Now, she didn't really have anything designed. Right, she was just the model. She was a virtual model for their clothes, and I think the campaign looked beautiful. If you guys haven't seen it, it still looks really relevant. Yeah. But yeah, I feel like they are really aware of what's going on, and I think it's really interesting. And
I love it.
The League of Legends collab.
I love seeing like imagine bringing in the trophy in a Louis Vuitton trunk.
Like
opened up by itself. Like,
so
are you crazy?
It was so
like some
legendary.
Trophies in actual like the NBA. Like you don't see him coming in a Louis Vuitton case. Like you crazy? What?
But they're not the Summoners Cup, so
get on our level. This Summoners Cup. Oh my gosh.
The thing that I would be really curious to see with the rise in like So we had the Yasuo Bape skin, we had the True Damage skins, the Louis Vuitton True Damage skins. I'm really curious to see if we will start seeing fashion brands sponsor VTubers, because I think that's like a market that's like really starting to come into popularity in the gaming world, and like you don't even have to send them like physical merchandise.
merch.
You can just
Totally,
send them a
yes.
PNG of a
Send them-
t-shirt, and you're like you're
Exactly.
set.
Send a target. Jesus, I didn't really think of that. I feel like the moment that VTubers become mainstream, that's when it's over.
It's over for all of
It's
us.
over. And we need VTubers too because we're gonna age.
True.
We want to
In
continue.
this podcast, we're all gonna be VTubers in a few years.
Yeah.
Watch out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So-
We're gonna be sponsored
The future
by
is
like,
now.
Gucci. We're gonna be in like.
You think it'll be expensive, like you buy, like you know how people buy JPEGs and like the originals, and they pay
Oh,
as
the
much as like the price of a
things.
Bitcoin. Yes.
Yeah.
And they
Isn't
buy
that
like original artwork. I think it's gonna be like that. That we're just.
Isn't that kind of how
And
NBA Top Shot works?
Sorry, what?
NBA Top Shot.
I'm gonna pretend I know what that is.
Yeah.
Explain quickly.
Sure.
No, I mean, I actually don't like 100% know, which is why I was kind of like hoping like Tyler, you'd have like more kind of insight on this. But it's like people like buying and selling like original copies of like highlights, plays, right? Digital content.
It's probably the same thing because you're owning like a digital file. Everyone can replicate, but the original one is yours.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's like prices of it. If it's like kind of
Yeah.
like the
Okay.
dunk, like the LeBron one where like Wade alley-oops at him and it's like right he goes like that and LeBron is hammering on someone's throat. Like if you own the actual, it's like yes you could look at it on YouTube, but like no, I own this.
You have
As
that
soon as
OG.
we start selling dead stock versions of videos, I'm gonna be done. Like I swear.
I'm out. See
Like,
ya.
Come on, bro.
Like,
Yeah,
like
weird.
the invisible hand is gonna like determine those prices, right? Don't hate the player, hate the game, right? Like people will pay out the wazoo for that, and if there's a profit to be made, people will do it.
100%.
Yeah.
All right. I'll tell my quick anecdote about this sweatshirt because I think it's
This is so cute, by the way. Everyone prepare yourselves because this is adorable.
my favorite piece of esports merch that I own is this sweatshirt. It's an FPX one from it's their old logo, which again now this is vintage. But like the sweatshirt, it's literally just like this isn't to flame, but like I could have gone on custom ink and like made this. Like it's very simple.
Fair.
Is what I'm trying to make.
Right.
How many sponsors are the 100 Thieves, Cash App, Totino's. I love that. That's very like old school kind of grungy gamer like pizza rolls. Like
Pizza rolls.
Pizza rolls.
it's so anti 100 Thieves. I love it. But when I first started working in esports, as I graduated from Northwestern in 2019, and I was looking for jobs in sports in LA, and then I was like, okay, how about esports? And so when my dad, then I started working here in like November of 19, and when my dad, who again he's like your parents' background, it's like okay, like I just try to like support like I don't know beans about esports. I know you like video games. I have a negative perception of it because that was part of the reason that your grades weren't as high as they could have been, but whatever, you like them. So
We've all been there.
so he was like, so then I told him about like 2019 Worlds was like, after college, like when I kind of got really, really back in esports, I watched the G2 FPX final in 2019. I was like, wait, this is awesome. And like being like the speech he gave afterwards of like, oh, my wife, like, like she's the one that like kept me here because like, she told me like, oh, just one more year. And then, you should call it quits. And like, now I'm here. Like I'm a world champion. Right. Which like, that was a moment for me that, again, we talk about humanizing esports. For me, I was like, that's incredible. And so he, Christmas rolls around, and I told my dad like all this stuff. I'm like, FPX G2. I'm like, wait, like China's really good now because like it used to be Korea, but then like and
like that, yeah.
It's kind of like almost there in like America, like we're there, but like this isn't about them, right? Like this G2.
You know that image of the guy holding the girl's neck and like at the baseball game.
But like that's why I love my dad, and I'm so close to him, and like like just people that I'm close to generally are people that tolerate me just talking at them for a long time.
Hell yeah.
We love you, Hank, man.
So we took like a genuine interest in it. He's like, oh, it's actually like pretty cool. There's like an ecosystem sort of. I'm like, now like you thought G2 was crazy? Wait till you see like FPX, like whatever mad science stuff G2 does. FPX was just like, no, actually, we're gonna play tanks in the mid lane and like blah. And I was like, explain all to him, and he was like, and he also loves the names. Like Mad Lions are his favorite team in Europe because he thinks that because he doesn't know that Mad stands for like Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He's like, oh, how are like the Mad Lions doing? I think that's like such a great.
That's so cute.
You could get your dad like completely off topic, but like go interview a player one day and just get like a clip for his birthday, like like a Mad Lion song. That would be so wholesome.
He would really like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he would.
deal.
Yeah, have them all in jersey. Have like the little plushie.
Yeah, sign a
Yeah.
little jersey. That'd be so cute.
like a t-shirt with the glad lions on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be so cute, actually.
Yeah, but then then Christmas rolls around and he was like I don't know what to get you, and like I he's like, I went to like a Chinese website and like it hasn't arrived yet, but like he hands me a receipt for like the gift that's coming, and he's like, yeah, it's just like he's like what do they call it, the Fun Phoenix, or fun, like what was it called, right? I'm like FPS, like Fun Plus Phoenix.
That's so cute.
Shirt for Christmas, right?
That's so adorable, man.
He's like yeah, because I want to like you seem to really like them, and like I want to like support you on your as you do like the esports thing. So I think it's really cool, right?
That's precious, bro.
So cute.
Like, I didn't ask for any of that. I just like like sometimes with some years it's just like, hey dad, can I have like this for Christmas? He's like, bet, and that's the end of the discussion.
Mm-hmm.
But he like beat me too. He's like, oh, I got you something. I'm like, don't worry about it. Like, hopefully it'll be here in time. But I got like from China, so I didn't get it till like mid-January.
Yeah,
right? Because he had to get it from the actual Chinese store. But like, yeah, this is my favorite sweatshirt in the world. And yeah,
man, you gonna make me cry. You gonna make me cry on our first video.
Yeah, that's why.
Episode.
Yeah,
Don't expose me like this. Touch my heartstrings, man.
Oh man.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but yeah. So it's but it's like with conventional sports, right? Just these things that like being part of like a team, just being part of like something bigger than yourself is like, no, I wear this because like I'm a billboard at the end of the day, right?
I'm repping my boys.
Which the dark side of that gets into a discussion about consumerism and stuff, but
we don't have
We're
to
not
go
here for
there.
that.
yeah, that's part two.
Zoom back.
Yeah, but no, I mean it's that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And I think that's kind of all we got. Any final thoughts as we're running up on the hour mark here before we sign off?
XL, change your jersey. I'm begging you. I'm on my hands and knees. Just shift it. Or just for next season, just shift it over a little bit. It's all you have to do, please. I get like I don't understand fashion, and like there's probably some feng shui reason where it like aligns all of your chakras or something, but like please just move it a little bit.
No.
You get like 15 degrees and yeah, then we're good.
My final one, Rogue, you're doing great, sweetie. I think you guys
Hell
did
yeah.
a real great job on your rebrand, and I really like your jerseys. Of course, you got a perfect colorway. Loved it all. Keep doing what you're doing.
Oh, my final thought's going to be, please select West. Please redesign all of your apparel. I love your team, but oh god, I can't.
And with that, that's how we're sign off. Critical Strike Podcast episode 13. That's why we bring guests on to bring the heat.
Bring the heat.
Okay, Lara.
In all seriousness, a big thank you to Lara and always to Tyler and Meg, to Thomas at Tish Photos on Twitter. I remember that one. For producing us and preventing us from making the horrible decisions.
Some awful mistakes that we would very much regret afterwards.
I'm not even flexible enough to do it. I don't know how I was going to do it. I was going to like stand in my chair, maybe like break my
Your handstand.
Don't
I'm not going to do that.
The men said it.
Yep.
You're
big
not
thank
allowed.
you to, Jim, yeah, like I said, Lara, Meg, Tyler, everyone at DOT that helps us do this. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, YouTube now. Hey, Google Play, and Pocket Cast.
Let's go!
Ooh.
You're natural. You're not missing anything. Let's get it.
Yeah, thank you to everyone I mentioned. For all those people, I've been Henrique Demore. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.